Praise thy name to thee for thee. Oh, he said, man. They walk. Bang, 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 bang. They walks in the building. What's up, man? How's your channel going? How is your channel going? Still putting out that good content? Man, I'm gonna have a rough 2 weeks, and I ain't gonna say if I make it through. I mean, we don't control some things, but when I make it through, we're gonna turn it up. We're gonna turn it up for sure. And I've been having a lot of conversations about very interesting stuff, but all of them offline. None of them have made it online. Took a break, about to get back to posting. Yeah, I know what that feels like. This was my break. Yeah, I I was just working on 2 weeks of pretty much having the same conversation with as far as content, and most of my lives I'm doing work, I'm active, I'm using my hands, and I'm trying to, I haven't found the discipline to do it yet, but I'm really trying to um, use that as the opportunity, the energy that's still going into doing that project, to have like a retrospective and use that as some content to kind of bridge the gap on some of the breaks that I'm taking. But see what happens. We shall see what happens. Going with Luigi's tonight. How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody's good? Everybody's good. Hope everybody's good. I'm just keeping the streak alive. It is a minute after midnight, but who's counting? Yesterday, I crossed into midnight. Today, not so much. How are you people doing out there? Hopefully, through all the chaos, you're finding yourself to be in good company or peace within. Corpian? Is that how you say that? What's up? Where you from? So, as I was telling Daywalk, who consistently bounces in the stream fast, um, I've been Monkey 85. What was the last book you read? Hmm. It was Rick Rubin's book. I don't know why I'm blinking on the name right now. The Creative Act. Is that it? Denmark. Cool, man. What was the last book you read, Monkey? Monkey, You got that year in your or that number, which I'm assuming is a year. You must have been hanging out in AOL days when we were all putting our birth year in our tags. I still want to go back and look up some of the old sites, like on Wayback Machine. Some of that data is still there. Um, One of my AIM screen names was Peace for Living. So I've always been like that kind of guy. Peace out, Audi 5000. Peace beyond to you. So, and here we are, 2026, a whole bunch of years later. Um, I'm not feeling older, but I get reminded by my kids all the time how old I am. Uh, what age did you guys stop counting birthdays? What age was that for you guys? Because I don't even, I have to think about how old I am. Unc, you be with me, dear. You be with media joins the chat. I was having a conversation with you be with media yesterday. He was trying to gaslight me. You gotta watch out for people like that. He was trying to gaslight me, man. we had a hell of a conversation. Um, but I'm blessed at 26 to have friends, man. It's people you can talk to. It gets harder out here. Um, and some of us, I seen a stat earlier that said that there are, what was the stat? Was it like 20? I think it was 20 million people are now in a relationship with some sort of digital form, like the movie Her. It's crazy. It kind of tells you how fragile the human brain is. It's that balance, like, you know, sort of like the Tom Hanks with Wilson in Castaway. Like the reality is, if me and a roach, if I had to get, if I had to get love through a roach, from where I sit today, hard, right? But some people don't have that option. I didn't even turn on my light. That's why I look oh. Sorry, I'm just tired, guys. I Man, I didn't even turn on my light. Sitting here looking like Dark Man. Okay, let me see. All of my equipment is failing. I don't know if that's a good sign or if it's a sign to just get out of Dodge. But I'm still here. I'm still present. Um, I ain't going nowhere. I love how Monkey85 asked me a question. I answered it, asked the question back, and he didn't answer my damn question. What's that about? This is night 2 of being in front of here at the crack of midnight. I have no idea what you're answering to. I'm just rambling anyway. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. This Italian icy is banging though. I would love to see a poll of what country has the best ices. I'm sure people would stand up and fight for that. I don't have no skin in that game. Uh, so what's going on? What is the big topic of today? What can we get in trouble with talking about today? I'm not usually a trouble person, but I've been in sort of a, oh, I said it earlier, but realistically, I felt like I was in a wild loop. For those of you logic people out there, um, I could write bad code. Oh, Nick's parade. Yeah, my mom is here, so I got to catch up on all of the Knicks interviews, the Inquirer-like storylines. Lady screams for the Knicks, and her dog gets shot. What? Like, unfortunate, but don't really want to know about that. I'm so proud of the Knicks. Bring the fam, yeah. Unfortunately, I have more important things to do than that. I keep saying it, man. This championship, I don't want to say much about it. I don't want to get anybody. There's no need for opposition with this one. By all means, however you feel that way. But for those of us who've been waiting a very long time for this moment, I'm the type, I don't need to share it with anybody. Um, I'm 100%, 1,000% comfortable just being at peace and reflecting on the fanship, being a fan for a very long time. And there's like a handful of people that I wanted to salute. The people that I thought were borderline like crazy. The homie, what? It's just sports, bro. It's just sports. Who cares? I'm just not there, man. Look at you using fear tactics. This is the only parade in your kid's lifetime. It's just a damn parade. My kids aren't fans, so I don't know what that's gonna do for them. And I'm pretty sure Yankees gonna win at some point. Give it within a 4 year period. The Yankees will win. Hey, Dome. Thought you was linking. Yeah, we could link up, but I ain't linking at no Knicks. Pray. I got a graduation to go to, which is more important. Though my mother confirmed it, those people acting like that aren't even real fans. That stuff has nothing to do with being a fan of the Knicks. That's just using an excuse. I don't want to get too deep into it, but that's just using an excuse that when you're in that riot mode, protest mode, that there's too many people for all of us to go down. So you just get away with what you can get away with. But show goes on. They'll clean up, do a good job of cleaning up, and then where are we? No, they don't. They don't. I used to be a diehard Yankee fan as well, and I was a what's called a bleacher creature. In fact, I was doing my cowbell today. I still know all my cowbells and all the songs we used to sing. They were all egregious, but it was mainly verbal. It wasn't physical. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yep. Had to hit the Italian icy. I feel like I've been working all day. It's one of those days. Um, I have somewhat of a smile on my face now. Yeah, it didn't grow up like that. I have a smile on my face now, but it was one of those days where you you want to tap out. You don't want to be there, but you know that you being there is important. It's important to your livelihood. Um, a small piece of you is still excited to learn and to show improve, um, but it got overextended. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, no, it got overextended, and I just start getting into this like, what's the meaning of work? What's the what's the point of it? A lot of it just doesn't always add up to me. And when I walk outside my house and I go in the grass, I'm just like, man, I would just rather be here. Like, I would just rather just be. But it is mental. It's just mental. Um, a remote job, I think hybrid is a lot better. Um, Over time, I think a hybrid solution works better. I think companies are either pro remote or anti remote, and I'm somewhere in the middle. As someone who has a little bit of experience in the profession that I work in, there's two main areas that change the game for me. My skill set, I have a lot of overlapping skills, and I I was saying this comment earlier. If you guys remember, like having an elevator conversation, um, a conversation by the cooler, a conversation over getting coffee. You know, a lot of the jobs I worked at, they would have like nice little coffee machines, or the last company we had like a free coffee day or hour for 2 days a week. And during those times, you would be able to socialize with someone that you wouldn't normally socialize with. So there's a lot of opportunity in there, and it helps the mundane part of work flow better. And over time, you know, you kind of cross pollinate with people. You get to see what they do. Maybe it'll open your eyes up, and maybe that'll turn into you wanting to do something. Or when you need somebody in my field, there are times where I may need to rely on a key person that's from the other side, right? They're from the other side, and I need to rely on them. And or somebody may not know, and I'm like, hey, I know my man. Like my man Doug worked at the team over there, and I hit Doug up. Doug's like, I got you, and that comes through having the coffee hour. That comes through having a water cooler where you just you see each other, you just say what's up, and then eventually it turns into more. That don't happen in remote work. That doesn't happen. It literally doesn't happen like that. there's no accidents in remote work. Oh, I stumbled across your name in Teams. Like, nah, just doesn't happen. And the other thing is uh, training, and I would say in partnership with that is the way that you just work with your team, especially if you are in any kind of managerial position. Um, Somebody may have to report to you, which I'm not, never want to be. Who knows what the future holds, but um, you get a young employee, and if you could go back to before we worked in this capacity, that person had a lot of questions, and even the questions that they didn't want to ask, right? So, say they was just waiting, they was trying to figure something out, and they didn't want to ask the question, and you just walk past their desk, and you could kind of already tell, you could get the energy that's missing. I can't get the energy, or at least as fast as I would. If I would have walked past someone, I would be able to tell if they're confused about something, right? And the remote work, um, it I'll just speak for what I do. You can't tell that someone's confused. You really can't. And when you see things that don't make sense, it's like I start to question if the person even has the skill. Like, who vetted this person? Um, but yeah, onboarding is it's really hard. When I onboarded at the company that I'm at, my me actually being what my resume showed is the only thing that got me through, and then some. If I was any less than what I said, I would still be in here, trying to hide because a lot of times the companies, uh, they don't really know what they want when they hire. So it always comes down to hopefully getting more than what you asked for, right? But hybrid, if I had to propose a hybrid work schedule for myself and for others and for where the world is going, um, you would have better mental health. Like, I miss driving to work. I miss just being able to turn on the radio, watch my routine. I don't miss highways and I don't miss bridges, but I miss driving to work. um, yeah, it's just a calm. Um, you're alone. It's a peace. Mostly everyone else is going through the peace at the same time. On the contrary, when I would take the subway to work um, years ago, that's also I don't know if I could say calm, but it's a experience where everyone is on board with the same energy, negative energy, but everyone's still on board with it, and I don't miss that. I wouldn't miss that. But yeah, I mean, you're in the car, thousands of other people that are driving around you. They're commuting to work as well. People probably listening to their favorite radio station. You're preparing for maybe something big at work or preparing to go through the same routine. You know, how you're going to get up out of there. And you could communicate, you could sit on some of your best skills, the most quality, what you bring to the table. Um, Now it seems like my my job as a remote worker comes down to being a suggestion box reader. Like, someone fills up, they load up the box. Hey, what's up, Chronicles? What's up? I ain't see you in a couple weeks. Somebody loads up the suggestion box and I don't get to. It's prior. Somebody prioritizes it for me, and then I'm supposed to read each thing and do it. That's kind of. I don't know if that's a great analogy, but that's kind of what it feels like. Um, and the computer's involved. Everything you do has to go through the computer. Like, so you remember you take a more in person form of work. And I'm really only speaking to those who, um, I guess, if you've experienced remote, if you could in your field. And I guess I could speak to those who are not doing remote. You know, it is what it is. But I could solve a problem with you taking a walk, which I frequently did. I would just like take walks. There's this great book that I read. I gotta find it again. It's a part of the God Loves You Too. It's a part of the Pragmatic Programmer series. It's about rewiring your wetware, your brain, and it actually helped to 3x me as a develop when I was a web developer by title. Still do it's still the same thing. Um, I'm a software engineer now. I deal with software. It's the same goddamn thing. I've been doing it for 20 years. Um, when I was a web developer and I came across this book, it was like magic. I was at the Barnes and Nobles in downtown Brooklyn. I used to love going to Barnes and Nobles. I never had a membership. I never purchased a book. I just love going in there. I think it's the environment, the vibes. I never purchased any Starbucks. They always have a Starbucks there, and I would open books and just get started on reading them. I think being a self-taught um, programmer, um, everyone has different learning techniques. Um, my learning technique is a pretty interesting one where I rely on physical books. So I'm already, in most people's eyes, I'm dated because everyone wanted to learn through some tools that you click, but I could likely prove that you're not using the same parts of your brain. So a part of learning something new is getting stuck. That's part for the course, right? So I would get stuck. So I'd read something, I'd get stuck. Then I'd go to the next um, book, same topic, different publisher. Read that book. I may get almost stuck at the same spot, may get a little bit further, and then I'll go to the third book. And then by the time I get to the third book, I could go back to the first book and everything made sense. And I get that much further. And then I'm off and running. I'm off and running. But yeah, I've always done like a 3 book rotation. So at the, being a, uh, being of the broke them, being broke, that's one of those things where the information had a higher barrier to entry. So if I wanted to, even now, there's a couple of books that I'm interested in, and they're not in print. They're not in print anymore. However you say that, they're not published anymore. They discontinued, and I could buy the book, but it's $200. Why am I buying a $200 book for words on the paper? So, yeah, I used to just go, and when I would find the book I wanted, or the style I wanted, or the publisher that I would stick with, like whether it's O'Reilly, I guess Pack On is a little bit new. Um, Never really was into like for dummies books, but I have a few, and I still keep my books. I think that the books still have value. A lot of the languages that when you write, when you code, when you do programming, a lot of the foundation. There aren't many languages that just have gone so far away from the foundation. So once you get the core understanding, newer versions are just like learning updated ways to do certain things. Um, some bug fixes, but just new techniques to make things easier. And they usually keep the old ones around for a long time. So it's not as easy to be obsoleted. I think obsoleting is more about uh, sort of like where I'm at, where I'm not resistant to change. I'm resistant to learn for the sake of pouring my knowledge into the same black hole, right? So what what value is it for me to dig in and learn something when I could already tell you where this is going? There's no there's no magic that's just gonna randomly occur for me, you know? So any magic that's gonna occur is gonna be me doing it, me making it happen. And that's I live in that dream, that fantasy, you know. Not really a fantasy, I shouldn't say that. Um, I live in that reality. Uh, but but yeah, I was talking to you be with media. I don't know if he's still hanging out on the stream, but we were talking the other day. I think it was yesterday, and not the whole conversation, but a lot of it was about, from my vantage point, a lot of it was about um, this pivotal time where there's a low barrier to entry to building certain things, um, to gaining information, to having access to the information because of these AI, a lot of it because of these AI tools, right? And we can't guarantee that that's always going to be. Even creating, being a creator, I already acknowledge and see a path that it doesn't make sense for YouTube to allow for people to not pay into creators to be a creator. It doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't make sense. The amount of data and information that's being stored somewhere, it's not only being stored, it's being backed up somewhere. Gigabytes upon gigabytes of information, terabyte. I'm just saying from individuals, right? Say they're storing oh yeah, they absolutely are storing terabytes. Most of your favorite creators, minimum of a few thousand videos. So all that data is being stored somewhere, and it's costing them, right? Even if it's their own data center, there's still a cost. There's a cost to house it. There's a cost for electricity. There's a cost because these machines get really hot, so you need cooling techniques. It all comes down to a cost. Um, and not to say that they're not being paid, but I could see where it doesn't make sense for them, because what if 1,000 of us created bots to just continue to create a massive amount of content just to kind of, you know, test the waters as to can you tolerate this content. Look at when you post a video and it takes up to 24 hours to start processing. Give me a real reason a plausible reason as to why they wouldn't be able to start processing your video. It must be something else. Now could there be like a legal reason? Yeah, maybe there's legal reason. But other than that, they're watching your video as you're recording it. As you're live, the AI is there's something I just call it AI, um, for algorithmic purposes. They're watching your video as you are live. So what is involved in the processing that they can't process your video instantly? Well, I don't have to work at YouTube to tell you it's going into a queue. And that queue has thousands of other people's videos that need to be processed. And it makes sense for them to have some uh, large amount of time, 24 hours, to start processing so that they can under promise and over deliver. But there isn't a technology out there to shrink that time. The more of us that get on here, the more data that's there. At some point, they gonna come knocking. And what would you pay? What would you pay? Would you pay? Um, I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, if if it really were to stay in the game, I pay $10 a month to be a creator. No, that's I'd pay $20 a month, getting close to like, okay, I need to be monetized because then it's gonna feel like a gym membership that I don't use. Um, and but yeah, there's different programs. I don't think it's gonna be as easy as just saying, oh, we charge you $20 a month. Like, what do you get? Maybe it's time related. Maybe you could pay that microtransaction based on the data that you're using up so that it's fair. So those who use more data would pay more. You know, that actually makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't think that I make enough content that it would cost me a whole lot of money, but if it allows for the service to function better and more predictable, then I'm absolutely with that. Absolutely. So so yeah, I just came on here, keep the streak going. I got a very interesting next 2 weeks. I got family coming in town. I got a lot of cleaning up, a lot of projects to close out on. I'm into this three list concept now. I don't know if it's an official thing, or if it's something I'm stealing by accident, but I did it with gardening. I mean, you could look at it as like ABC, right? A is, needs to do, needs to have, need to plant. B is, oh, this is nice to have, but not required. Don't put any primary energy towards it. And C is, I, son, you need to stop. You stop doing that, right? So I'm doing the same kind of list with the projects that I need to get done because I could list 100 different things that I want to do or need to do. When I get behind in the season, and we're at that point, stuff starts to break, and I got to learn a little bit about when does grass grow the most because I think we're almost out of that really wet time pause where then it's like the sun burning down and there's not as much precipitation. So hopefully we're out of that. If we are, I don't have any major decisions to make. Though it is attractive when I see these see a bunch, which is not a good sign on one hand. When I see these electronic lawnmowers like Ryobis, like the ride-on ones, man, man. But it's always something wrong. Like that's why they're getting rid of it. It needs a new battery. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to get out of the season. But for now, I'm working through. I didn't even build it yet, but it's in my head. I'm working through a list of A, B, and C. So like must do would be nice. All right, you're crazy. Don't even think about that. And we'll be fine. But the more I realize it, everything is temporary, and the energy that it's gonna take for me to get everything ready for the family, and then host them, house them, and then it'll be on to they're gone, and I could get back to some of the stuff that I've been wanting to do. Um, it will likely go better than I think it's gonna go, but it's always a little nerve wracking. So, but that's all. I hope everyone's good. I don't even know how I made 40 minutes out of this. I'm starting to like the pop in at night. I don't know if I need to bring more of a topic. Um, I don't know. I don't know, but I still got to focus on getting some of my retrospective content out there, and we'll make something out of it. But so thanks again. Thanks for the likes. The next time I do this, I am gonna have my computer, so we'll put up a poll, and maybe we could be more interactive with this. Thanks for the people who did some chat interacting, which is always helpful, and gave me some likes. And for those who didn't and hung out, thank you as well. I will see you on the next one. Peace.